Good afternoon. It's day 85. And today I'm thinking about things that end up becoming classics. I have a list of books that I'm having to read through that are some required reading for a new coaching company that I'm working with. And the book that I just finished yesterday was one that had been rewritten a couple of years ago. And this morning as I started a new one and I started reading all of these different examples and case studies they were using, I'm thinking, when was this book written? Some of these companies aren't even in business anymore, and they're not mentioning ones that are huge now. So probably 20 or 30 pages in, I had to flip back to the copyright and go, okay, when was this actually published? And it was in 2007, and this is 2023. So 16 years ago, the examples that are being used in this book were extremely relevant to the business world. Today, not so much, except for studying history. So what I'm hoping is that as I progress through the book, that the underlying principles that are being taught are still applicable, which I suspect they are. But it also made me think to things like the Bible that I know a lot of people won't read because they feel like it's outdated, it doesn't apply to me, this is stuff that happened hundreds of years ago and it's not applicable. And yet, as I was reading this morning in the Old Testament, and it was talking about Elisha, and there was a woman whose two sons were about to be taken by a creditor in payment of a debt that she had. And that was customary in the time that she lived. And she pleaded with the prophet and said, can you help me? And he wanted to know what was in her house. And she told him she had some oil. And so he instructed her to go and gather every container she could get hold of, she and her sons. And so they did, and they went inside the house, shut the door, and she started pouring from the cruse of oil that she had, and ended up filling every vessel she had in the house. And when she called for another, her boys were like, that's all. And it was a miracle. And there would be people that would say, yeah, but that kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. Maybe it doesn't happen like that because I don't use oil to pay bills. But if I had lived in that day and age, when they were probably bartering a lot, that would have been appropriate. So I'm reminded of just the idea of what's in your house, what's in your hand, because God can use it to fulfill whatever need you have in your life. So I know that's a little different than most of these days' topics, but that's what I'm thinking about today. It is day 85. I'm signing off, and I'll see you tomorrow.